Good evening, everyone. Our dear fellow friends and practitioners, we welcome you here to the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Centers, our bi-weekly guided meditation and Dharma talk. This is an opportunity for us to really get together as a group, as a Sangha, understanding that being a part of a Sangha, a community, is really vital to our progress, right? To our healing and to our understanding of the nature of reality. So it's important that we meet regularly and we practice together, right? And we reflect, during the days and the intervals between our meetings and so forth. So I'm very delighted to have you all here this evening with us. Today is April 1st, 2024. It is 6 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone. I still have to look to make sure it's 6 p.m. So, and I'm absolutely delighted again to have you all with us. And just some brief announcements before we begin in earnest with our guided meditation and Dharma talk. We have a new offering, in-person offering at our center on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. So for our meditation Mondays, you are absolutely welcome to come sit with us. It's only an hour. If you're in the area, you're welcome to come sit with us for a short Dharma talk, a little guided meditation, just enough to get you well balanced and a correct set of mindful thoughts to begin your week. A lot of times our weeks are very, very hectic and coming in from a weekend. Sometimes our weekends are not necessarily as balanced as we would want them or like them to be. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to begin our week mindfully. Our Dharma Institute has many wonderful new classes that we actually just initiated as well. For example, our mindful parenting class, right? Or even our introduction to mindfulness. There are some out there that, really may want to delve into the practice a little bit more than what some of the videos or some of our other offerings may present. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Plus, there's always a certificate of completion, and they're always asynchronous as well. Don't forget our weekly sanghas for those of you that want a little bit more intimate support instead of such a large group as we are this evening. Maybe you would like a little bit more focused connection with others. And we have our healing sangha, our veteran sangha, new beginning sangha, rainbow sangha, welcoming sangha, and our teen sangha as well. So you're welcome to join us any one of those times. Our registration page right on our website, you can go in there. It's a free registration. And just come in and sit with us. And then our summer calendar is open as well. And you'll see all the wonderful activities every weekend. There's an activity, or every other weekend there's an activity going on for us to enjoy, whether it's a day-long event or perhaps a week-long retreat, for example, for our teen practitioners, or even for couples. There are some really wonderful activities that we are getting ready to really begin with as summer approaches. And so those are all of our announcements for this evening, and let's begin. And so we'll begin with the three jewels. Right? So the three jewels, we begin our sessions, each one of these sessions with the three jewels, and we end with the three jewels as well. And so I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Very nice. Good. It's important to pay homage and respect to the Buddha, not as a deity, not as a god, but just a way to say thank you for his teachings that really help us in our daily lives. And we'll see how some of his teachings and sayings are really pertinent in today's society, even tomorrow's society. Right? It's always good to practice mindfulness and the meditation. So tonight's topic is getting well using the Dharma. Right? We can use the Dharma as medicine. Medicine, we may sometimes think of as, an aspirin or, a medicine for some type of illness or something for our bodies. But our mind requires medicine as well. And so the Dharma is a perfect tool, perfect instrument for healing our mind, allowing us to see the nature of reality the way it is. And that brings us into our guided meditation this evening, wisdom of the Dharma as medicine. So let's begin by taking a moment to settle our bodies into a comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus, looking downward a few feet in front of you if you choose. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. You're invited to allow a half smile to rest on your face as well. Allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. And soften your belly as you continue settling in. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And let's meditate on using the wisdom of the Dharma as medicine. Just like when our bodies become ill, we seek out a skilled physician to diagnose and aid in our treatment and recovery. Our minds are needing the same skillful treatment as well, so that we may overcome conditions of anger, despair, anxiety, jealousy, greed, and dissatisfaction. But where would one turn to find such a skilled and caring healer for our minds? The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicines our minds are needing to heal. The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicine our minds need to find calm. The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicine our minds need to find balance. The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicine our minds need to find peace. The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicine our minds need to find clarity. The Buddha's Dharma offers the medicine our minds need to find joy. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. The Dharma is complete with infinite wisdom for our lives. The Dharma is complete with infinite compassion for our lives. The Dharma is complete with infinite morality for our lives. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes slowly and reorientate yourselves before standing about. Our world is, when we look at it, we see a lot of strife. Look at a lot of the television commercials if you watch TV, or sometimes even radio ads or magazine ads or whatnot. We oftentimes find advertisements for a lot of medicines, for calming, for balancing, and just to get you through the day. I think a lot of us, just by being bombarded by a lot of advertisements and so forth, have really allowed that to water inside us, that if we're not having a good day, there has to be a pill for that. Or if I'm feeling sad, there has to be a pill for that. Or if I'm feeling angry, there has to be a pill for that. Or if I'm feeling depressed, there has to be a pill for that. And too often, we look for a pill, right? The quickest, the easiest way that we can avoid our suffering, because that's what anger is, right? Sometimes being angry is we're trying to avoid suffering. And sometimes that's what sadness is, not knowing how to deal with our suffering. And the physical actions of these conditions, they could manifest themselves into harmful actions. Certainly when people take, medications or whatnot, they're not looking to harm themselves, right? They're looking for a way to ease their own suffering. But that actually does a disservice to some, right? There are certainly some out there that certainly do require, appropriate doctor's care. But most often it's just we're not taught how to. Think about what our society does. It teaches us how to grind, how to be good citizens and just work and work and work. But it doesn't teach us how to nurture. It doesn't teach us how to skillfully handle our suffering, how to approach it, how to live with it, how to sit with it. And that's where a lot of suffering really begins and continues, because we don't know how to. And that's where the Dharma comes in, the Buddhist teachings, right? We have to have that realization that, and it's skillfully and nicely summarized in one of his sayings, one of the Buddhist sayings, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk that path. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean we can't have friends who help us and nurture us and support us. That's not what that's saying. It's saying that we have to do the work. We have to put in right effort, right thought, right action, right mindfulness, and so forth. We have to do that. No one can pull you out of a slump or a negative or a saddening experience except you. You allow it. Think about when you were sad and someone, maybe came by and helped lift you up out of that sadness. They weren't able to do that. It was you who allowed it to happen. I'm sure there have been times where you have been sad and angry and somebody has tried to cheer you up and you just remained angry or sad because you chose to. So that's what that saying is revealing to us. We have to do the work. And very often it's just letting go of the ego of I want to be sad. And believe it or not, that's holding on to an ego. I want to be sad. I want to be angry. If I'm sad, people will notice me. If I'm angry, people will notice me. And so that's not helpful for us. And then sometimes, even when we do feel sadness, sometimes sadness can lead to despair or can also lead to anger. And anger is one of the three poisons that the Buddha teaches about. And anger is like holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. So if you're angry at someone, they may just look the other way and walk away. Think about if you've ever been cut off driving, for example. Yeah, you may have gotten angry at that other person, right? And you may have been angry for the rest of your commute. Somebody cut me off. It was dangerous. And it very well may have been, but you were holding on to that anger. And the other person's on their way. right? Or maybe somebody wronged you. Right? Perhaps you were in a relationship and you were treated unfairly, or even cheated on, or whatnot. And maybe you hold on to some anger or resentment for that. Maybe you felt like, I saw those signs and I'm angry with myself because I saw those signs of unhappiness there, but I stuck through with it. And maybe you take that into another relationship. Person didn't even do anything to you, right? You could hold on to it, and you're the one that's suffering, not the other person. Somebody else may recognize, oh, this person's angry, and just let go and just move on. And you're the one that's still holding on to those thoughts and those feelings. But the good thing is, and I don't think that people often enough realize that we can have new beginnings. Every morning, every minute is an opportunity for us to have a new beginning. If you want to hang on to where you are, that's up to you. But if you want to grow, that's up to you as well. New beginnings. And so the Buddha even tells us, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. So think about that. Think about a snake's skin if you've ever seen it after it's already shed. Gray and dull, flimsy, right? Very fragile. But even think about the snake when it's shedding its skin in the process. Its colors are dull, right? Its eyes are cloudy. It can't see. So in order for it to grow, for it to advance, to have a new beginning, so we can start over, we too have to shed our past. Let the past be in the past. Doesn't matter what it is. Let the past be the past so you can move along in your mindful journey towards liberation. Doesn't mean we're not accountable to our past, but we don't live in our past. And in order to do that, sometimes we really have to have a disciplined mind or disciplined thoughts. We have to have our own obedience, our own disciplined mindfulness. And the Buddha goes on to state, there is nothing so disobedient as an undisciplined mind. And there is nothing so obedient as a disciplined mind. If you know you need to do your meditation practice, do your meditation practice without delay. You know you need to take your heart medicine, you take your heart medicine without delay. If you know you need to go grocery shopping, do so without delay. Disciplined mind leads to a disciplined life, which truly leads us to joyfulness. We think of discipline as being rule abiding, or even hard on ourselves to some degree. But that's not what it means. We can have gentle discipline, right? For example, if we do have a meditation practice at 6 a.m., maybe you sleep until 6:15. Okay, right? You do your meditation practice at 6:15 when you get up. That's okay, right? We can have gentle discipline. Because when we're disciplined in our thoughts, we will become disciplined in our actions. And when we have right action, right mindfulness, right thought, right speech, we are living a quality, wholesome life. Not hurting ourselves, and not hurting others. And so what about our practice? Right? Buddha has a lot to say on our practice, right? Meditate. Do not delay, lest you regret it later. So think about if maybe perhaps there were several days in a row that you did not adhere to your practice of meditation. Maybe you found yourself watering the seeds of anger or jealousy or greed or hopelessness throughout the rest of those few days, and you recognize it. This is what's happening. I need to go back to my meditation. I need to get back to my practice. And then if you meditate, Buddha also states, if you meditate earnestly, pure in mind, and kind in deeds, leading a disciplined life in harmony with the Dharma, you will grow in glory. If you meditate earnestly through spiritual disciplines, you can make an island of yourself that no flood can overwhelm. And it doesn't, when we talk about an island to ourselves, we're not talking about sequestering or removing us from society, right, or others. Connection is very important for people. It's how we learn and grow, and it's how we can help spread and share the Dharma. Being an island to ourselves where no flood can overwhelm, meaning that those floods of emotions that may creep up along our shores and cause us despair or feelings of anxiety, right, or dissatisfaction. But when we have a disciplined spiritual practice, disciplined practice with the Dharma, that is less likely to happen. It's not that you won't get angry. It's not that you won't feel those emotions starting to perhaps nurture or rise, but we don't nurture them. Oh, I feel you anger. I feel you sadness. I will not be overwhelmed by you. And so all of these are little examples of medicines that we can take for our mind. So just as we want a healthy and an active body, we also must have a healthy and active mind. And when we have a healthy and safe mind, we're able to live with joyfulness and appreciate what we have, not miss what we don't have, but truly appreciate what we have in this moment. And that is the medicine that the Dharma provides us, free of charge, of course. Right? We don't have to go to a doctor for this. That's what the Dharma provides us. This is this invaluable medicine helping you to live skillfully and wholesomely and nobly in a world that really needs us, really needs strong mindfulness practitioners. Remember that one quote, many candles can be lit by a single candle. And that can be you. It can. But in order to do so, we too have to have a healthy mind. And that's what the Dharma does. Allows us to have a healthy mind. Well, let us know what you thought in the comments below about this evening's Dharma talk. This was really enjoyable. I enjoy coming and seeing you all every couple weeks, every 2 weeks on here. enjoy reading the comments and your ideas and your insights as well. It's very enjoyable and learning for me as well. Our next talk is going to be on April 15th, right? Same time, 6 p.m. Central Time. If you're not able to make it, it's certainly going to be on the channel where you can watch it as well. And with that, we'll end with our 3 jewels. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Sathu, Sathu, Sathu. Thank you all for coming, and many blessings to you all this evening.